Good evening, everyone. It's a very nice pleasure to be here tonight, and I want to welcome our new friend, our new couple here. Is anyone coming for the first time to the center? Oh, what is your name, please? Larry? Larry, nice meeting you. And yours? Adrienne. Okay. So, does anyone has any idea what is this topic about it? Blueprint for transformation? I have a little clue here, the picture in the background. Yeah, it's like a bamboo. Bamboo. So first of all, I wanna apologize for my accent. So if you guys have any word I say you don't understand, please let me know. Don't feel scared to ask a question. If I had said something that doesn't make any sense, we can clarify. So I heard about what? A growth. Anybody else? Flexibility, change, time, yeah. Did anybody ever heard this story about the bamboo, the Chinese? Did it? I heard that. Peter, did anybody else ever heard that story about the bamboo? How long it takes to grow? Did anybody has any idea? I don't know if it's this story now with ChatGPT and AI. Some say that's not a true, but I love that story because it brings some very important mean for us to live as human beings. Anybody else heard or no? That's fast growing. Okay, so what they say, usually you plant a seed of a bamboo, takes about 5 years. It looks like it's there. If you don't water, if you don't take care, it will die. But as you water, as you're taking care, it takes 5 years to start germinating. And then that goes really quick. So some of them say that's true, that's not. I love for the idea of even that apparently nothing is happening, that the society is not seeing a growth, a changing that require perseverance, that require patience. It's happening inside. So that's the reason I kept there. And a reminding of a bamboo, it shows a lot of resilience through the storms. It has so much flexibility through the winds. So when the storm comes, as happened to any one of us over here who are sitting here or will be listening, we all have our times that we face challenge. Hopefully everyone over here tonight, it's going, having a good time. Like things are flowing, things are happening. But eventually in our lives, we deal with disease. We deal with when we lose our job. We lose a loved one. We have to face a kid that's having issues, or we just lose hope. We do everything we can and we don't find happiness. We don't find something that help us to move. So this plant, even if the story is true or not, give us that strength to know that things will pass. That if we find the right tools, that is spiritism, that's the good news that bring us that we're going to go through some basic knowledge to help us to overcome and face challenges in life. So just to remember, this talk, oops, hold on. I have to get adjusted to that. What did I do? Because I don't see here. Here. Okay, I need some help. Please. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's one of the number one. Let's be humble and know that we don't know everything. But let's thank you so much, Peter. Let us know. It's very important for us to know to whom we ask for help. because sometimes we need help, but we go ask for people that end up actually pull us down to the hole. So, and that's require humility. So just bringing over here, this book, the Spirit's book, is one of the book being codified by Allan Kardec. We have 5 different books. This book is awesome. It's very simple, question and answer. Who never had a chance to, get in touch, we have over here at the library. Yeah.
We have a new person here. Who's Allan Kardec?
Allan Kardec is the codifier of Spiritism. He codified Spiritism in the 1857. Yeah. And so what he did, prior to that, he was an educator, a French educator. So he asked, as he started seeing, by that time, the round tables, all the events that start happening in United States and in different places, he started questioning, what is this? Is that a joke or what you're doing? So after so many studies, and he started asking different spirits, asking questions, and spirits answer. And with his ability as an educator, he codified the book, those books. So we have the Spirit's book, we have the Gospel according to Spiritism, we have the Medium's book, we have the Genesis, Heaven and Hell. We have a very simple one. What is Spiritism? Yeah. So, but I invite, if you have any more questions, I know it's so much. So, we invite you, to ask one of us who has our friend Peter or Valdo, and we'll be here to assist. And then the other book that I'm gonna bring in this talk, it's called Living Spring. It was through the medium Chico Xavier, Chico Xavier, through the Spirit's Emmanuel. It's a very good book too. It brings some parts of the gospel, and then he explains a little bit related to that. So that's one of the parts that one of the chapters we're going to be using. Actually, the chapter 30, Educate. Is everybody okay? Is everyone okay? All right. Can we move forward? Let me do the right push. All right. So here, on that book, Emmanuel is starting to say, inside the tiny seed lives the blueprint of the whole tree, or the whole tree. So when we look, this is the seed of bamboo. If we're able to give the right soil, nurturing, the sun, the water, the time, taking care, that tree will grow. That seed is going to germinate. It's going to go through a process. Some seeds, it grows very quick. Some takes very long. And it's hard to believe. Have anyone had a chance to see the sequoia? Isn't that amazing to think that a little seed has that capacity inside to turn to be a big tree? Isn't that amazing? So then we will be a little bit more surprised. Then Emmanuel keeps telling us, nonetheless, the orchid needs constant care, just like we said. It's not just putting a seed there and let us see. Sometimes it will go, but usually, especially to have an orchid, we need to take care. We need to know when is the right season to plant the seed. We need to prepare the soil. We need to see the weeds are growing. We need to remove the weeds. We need to give the water, the right nutrition. It's a constant care, requires active effort. So if for a little seed, that's the creation of God, it has that whole potential. What about each one of us? What do you guys think? Everybody's so quiet. Come on. Nobody agrees. we have a lot of potential. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Because sometimes we can have, but sometimes we're so lost, so occupied with so many things happening around us, so many obligations that society setting rules to us to do it. We do, but we feel so empty, so sad, so much pain. So what is happening? Where is God? Is God doing other things and not care about any one of us? Or maybe we are just looking to the wrong place. Maybe we're not focusing what life is inviting us. So Emmanuel remind us, God is in us as much as we are in God. And the letter of Paul to the Corinthians, he tells us, don't you know that you're God's temple? And God's Spirit lives in you? Leon Denis is one of a French Jew, and he was follow Kardec, very renowned, bringing us so much knowledge. He has a book. I don't know if it's translated, but it's called "The Problem of the Destiny." I have over here for you guys. He has a book, and in this book, I will translate them. He identifies the power of the soul as heating force and energy that reside in each individual. So just remember the seed, the power, the capacity is in there. If we get the right resources. So each one of us, doesn't matter what we're going through. One thing I would like to invite you, if you're going right now through a very hard time, do a little zoom out and remember that had times that you went through and you were able to overcome. But I want you guys not just to do that. If you can, and you remember that time that was so hard and you were able to overcome, hug yourself, accomplish yourself, and connect to that strength. Because it's saying here, we're having those heating forces inside each one of us. But we get so busy and we get so distracted, and we're not here to judge. What we're here is to try to connect and to come back and connect with the source. The one who created us. The one who is merciful. The one who loves us, that sometimes we feel we left alone, but he's carrying us. So that's the beautiful blueprint of the seed. Going towards the light. Even when the period, when it's over here, or under here in the darkness. When you feel like you're in a desert of pain and sorrow. But even though, if you're trying little by little to connect, to pray, to ask for help, to remember that we're loved ones, we're going to continue. And you're going to towards the light, towards the knowledge. And that's what is this message is so important, the first one about the truth. Because what is true for me may not be true for the other one at that time. We leave Earth, as Spiritism teaches us, Earth is a planet of trial and expiations. We live many lives with different body. It's always a law of progress. Maybe we choose not to do anything and we stationary, like we get stuck, but we never regret. It doesn't teach that, because now I'm a human, I'm going to reincarnate it one day as an animal. No, it's always a law of progress, always getting better. So Kardec tells us, the spirit tells us that earth is a school, it's a hospital, and sometimes for some it's like a prison. As a school, we all of us here are apprentices. We all are here to learn. But some of us may be in kindergarten, some of us be in first grade. So what is the truth for a fifth grade may not be a truth for the kindergarten. But what is the beauty of this message? That talks about each one of us who's sitting here. Because sometimes we have this beautiful ability to listen to something and say, oh man, I wish my husband was here. I wish my wife was here. I wish my kid was here. No, the lessons is for us. Who needs the change? It's us. And our example will speak louder than words. So, it's beautiful and it's very nice. Sometimes when things are working for us, we really want the other person to do, but we have to respect. Everyone has their free will and everyone has their time to acquire that. So that will actually help so much at home when we have their respect, because sometimes we want to force things to others, to our kids. We do our job. We show them. And then we remember something, especially with our kids. Before being our kids, they're kids of God. He's taking care of them too. We do what is up to us as a parent to direct, to show the path, give the example, because sometimes we can talk, but we do everything opposite to what we say. So the truth that we're going to hear, that we study, it's for us. Is everybody okay? Is anybody scared? Does anybody has any question? No?
Why did you look straight at me? It's a trap.
Come on, we can talk. I don't want this to be like I think that I'm here, the top talking. No, I wanted this to be a conversation. Maybe you have some questions. Maybe now you don't understand something. This is to be a dialogue. This is ideally
Okay, you said that we are on a planet of
trial.
trials and expiations.
So what is trial and expiations?
Is there any other planet?
Oh, sure.
Like
Our Father
life
told
on other
us,
planets?
not as material life as how it is. Our Father told us there are many houses, and so it is. So as we study, we have in the Spirit's book, you're going to see the primitive world. Then we have a second one, that's the trial and expiation. And then the next one is regeneration. And then we have the world of the pure spirit. So, but that's what we're focusing here. So thank you, Peter, for reminding us. So what is trial and expiation? So let's think, as we're talking about earth is a school. What we go to school to do what? I think you have some questions. Yeah. we learn. So how do we know how, and the kids are going through that now, how do you know? So you get a material, and then how do you know if you learn or not? They test you, yeah?
I have a friend, a Japanese friend, and he told me that bamboo is a very sacred tree and is also food for them. But for the Japanese, as he explained, the bamboo has a little sprout
Mm-hmm.
or a little child that comes right from the tree, and that and the meaning for them is like uh, that little sprout will always grow taller than the original tree. So it's like he says, in his own words, it's like for us, the generation that comes after has always to raise up to the previous generation. So parents have a lot of expectations on us, and it's just like the little bubbles, the little bamboo sprout that comes out of the wood that it will grow taller than the palm
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then especially when you see now, if it's a world that we're evolving, we're learning, we're growing. So if we look it back to what our parents or even how we were raised, how they would handle things, but that's what they were able to do, their capacity, and how what we know today. And you can see even with technology, what the technology now has bring the intelligence. So it's we're always evolving. Um, but thank you. So Emmanuel kept saying in the book, but for the divine light, remember that light? To stand out from the human darkness. So as we evolve, we're primitive, first as with the instinct, and then for us to get out and start getting more knowledge, developing more our sentiments, he say it's necessary for the educational process of life to work to the stone path of the millennium. So just remember, as we are continuing evolving in our spiritism, we believe the reincarnation, that we come back and we are going to redo, we're going to go to some test. So we learned the lesson, and now, okay, here, maybe so many different lessons, to work how to be patient, how to love, how to forgive. And then sometimes when we don't make our best choices, we have what we call expiations. So we can learn maybe through the difficulties we go to have more compassion towards the other one, to feel a little bit what it is to be in his place. So, but over here, when Emmanuel tells us about the educational process, which educational do you think he's talking about? Moral education. And what is moral education? Very good, learning that. And how do you think we can do that? I think I saw another hand. Did you say anything? No.
It's
Okay.
like right and wrong. And then you kind of learn from your mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
the mistakes of others, the ones that, and that's the cycle. Our inner voice, the countries.
So, what do we need to do to be in contact with that inner voice?
Quiet. Tuning.
Tuning, listen. And we are so busy sometimes with so many things on the phone. As our friend just reminded us, let's just connect for 1 hour. Sometimes we cannot listen what our spouse or our kids are talking to us because we're just so, what I'm going to do next, I'm listening. How I'm going to be able to listen to what is happening here inside of me, to know what I'm going to do is right or wrong. And remember, we have the free will. And remember that sometimes what is true for me, it's not for the other. So I need to know. I need to look inside of me. So with the information, it comes from outside because we can have, and we're going to talk about here, that the moral education can also come from books. Kardec say that to us. As we're reading, as you take a book, another great book, very simple message, this Christian agenda, very good. Okay. And one thing that we recommend, it's so important, it makes such a difference at home. It's what we do, what we call gospel at home. So what that is, it's you choose one day a week, prefer to be the same day, the same time. If you can have the whole family, great. If not, start with yourself. What you do, you can open with a prayer. Each one of us here have a guardian angel. We ask for the protection of our guardian angel to guide us, to protect our home. And then we can open a little message like this, or gospel according to Spiritism. We can read the message. We can talk about it. Most important is to see how that message we can apply that to our everyday life. So if you have kids and they're kind of teenage especially, it's kind of little challenge, but you can make this kind of a little bit different, called we do at home, we call family meetings. So actually now they like that we have that time, because we let them also talk and bring in their difficulties, because we are so busy that we don't have time anymore to sit and have a meal. We don't have time to have this family time, where we can hear what's going on with them. So this is one of the things, and it changed the environment, the energy in a house. So now be persistent and find that joy. If you don't, if spiritism is something new for you, find a book or something that has moral values, that helps you, that enlightens you. So okay, so we talk about moral education. We talk about we need to observe the laws of God. So that means we need to listen. Let's see here. So that's what all the education. So in the Genesis, that's one of the books that I think I forgot to mention, that's codified by Allan Kardec. They say over there, it's no longer only about developing intelligence, which men need, but about elevating the sentiment. So we're not saying that intelligence is not good, but what he's saying is not just that. Because, and we can see in society that what we have achieved with intelligence. But sometimes if you don't know how to use that right, you can end up using that to destroy, to harm others. So what he's talking, reminding us that we also need to pay attention about our sentiment. What is happening here inside of us? So, and that goes to, and that's in the Spirit's book when Kardec asked the Spirit, so what is morality? So that goes to morality is the rule, like our friend said, is the rule of good conduct. So to know what is right for wrong. And that's going to be something I have to look with myself. So distinct good and evil. So which path to choose? And reminding that we have to observe the law of God. So in doubt and what to do, just remember Jesus. Do unto others what they want them to do to you. So that requires some reflection, not just reacting, because we react a lot. We need to act. To act, remind us to stop before, to think, to feel, to analyze. But sometimes it takes so much of work. So Kardec reminds us that we have these types of education, intellectual education, that all of us know, and it's very important. Moral education through the books, but the challenge one here for us is the moral education as an art of shaping character. It's the moral strength and integrity. Sorry, English. My accent. So with the intellectual education and with the moral education of goods and knowing, observing the laws of God, that is explained now in the gospel according to Spiritism too, it's gonna help us to decide which way I'm gonna choose. But this moral education is require more. It's like when you connect the brain for the intelligence and the heart. They have to go together. Otherwise, imagine a bird. A bird to fly has to have both wings, the moral and the intellectual. But over here, he goes a little bit more deeper. Is everybody okay? Everybody's so quiet. Following? Everybody's following? So he goes a little bit here beyond in his Spirit's book, Kardec, through the comment 917, when he talked, this moral education, it's an art that requires much tact, much experience, and deep observation. So it takes time. It's not something, and he says a serious mistake to think that practicing it, can you help me with that word, please?
Profitability.
Profitably? I practice.
Profitability.
Profitability. It's not enough to have knowledge of science. So what he means over here, it's not just as I take a book and I read, and that's where sometimes we get so frustrated because I read and he tells you what to do. But when I go live and practice, I make the same mistake. It's like, man, I'm so hypocrite. Oh, Warner, it is not. Because it takes time. It takes experience. It takes deep observation. We have to change our focus. Sometimes we're looking and doing things, in a different way. What others are applying to us, that's needed.
It's about purpose, right?
Purpose.
Like IQ, it's about intellectual. EQ is about feelings, and SQ is about purpose.
Yes, because that's the spiritual.
Coding.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So here we have some like few steps. And this is, it's, we don't come with a manual, everything, a recipe of to do. It's something you can try and see if it works for you. And as you study, as you meditate, you find, what will work or not. So here's a few steps. So Joanna de Angelis, that's from this book here that we read the first message, she starts saying to us, greet your day with a prayer of gratitude. So start your day when you open your eyes. It doesn't have to be any words, but just have that feeling. Choose few things that you're grateful for. It can already change the tone for your day. What they recommended to, it's start your day. Remember we said each one of us has a guardian angel. And they help to plans for us to be here. We have plans to be here, to do well. We're not here to fail. But sometimes we get so lost between that. Let's ask them and ask God also for clarity, for discernment, which path to take. When challenge comes, what's the best way to handle? Doesn't mean we're going to get it right the first time, the second time, the third time. No, the important is as we keep trying, creating those habits. The other thing is conscious awareness. How many of you had to, let's say, or go to one destination, but you're so in the automatic mode and you see you're going to someplace else? Or you have to take a medication. You say, did I take the medication? I don't know. Did I lock the door? Let me go check again. It's because we're not conscious. We're not present to what we're doing.
Autopilot.
In an autopilot. I remember I had times and I had to take medication. I would get it and say, okay, Christiane, right now you're taking a medication. It's like when you go through this stage, your mind is so busy, you're trying to clear your mind a little bit. So here, conscious awareness, it goes a little step farther, deeper. So observe your action or reaction in challenge moments. You may ask yourself, why did I react this way or act? Or what lesson can I learn from this? So don't be upset that you're gonna make the mistake, but afterwards, if you have a chance, because it will happen many times. Can I tell you, and this week as I was preparing, I was tested. I'm gonna share with you guys. It's simple things, but just to give an example that we will be tested. So if we're trying to develop this awareness, so as I was preparing first of all for this talk, that started 9 months ago. I have all the PowerPoints, but I was never brave enough to come here. It's like, you know what? English is not my first language. No, it's okay. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to overcome fear. So this is an invitation also for each one of us that maybe we have some plans, some things we want to do, but we think we're not ready enough, we're not good enough. Go with even with fear. Try your best because we never know. So second, as the part of the PowerPoint was ready, my computer broke. I lost everything. I said, okay, all right. And as I'm prepared, we have at home 4 pets. We have 3 kids, 3 teenagers, and 4 pets. So everyone leaves, I take care of the pets. I had 2 dogs and 2 cats. And one of the cats just had the surgery. This little dog, let me tell you, he's starting all over the house. Every place I go do something, the other cat drops the food. The dog cannot eat because the dog has pancreatitis. So if he eats food, he's starting up. I had to take him to the hospital. So one day I was really like, I said, you know what? I'm not doing this talk. This is not, it's just adding up more stress. And then one day I decided, I said, you know what? I know I'm going to encounter all this challenge. But those are going to be some tests of my patience. I changed the focus. I changed the way I was looking. And I said, another one here. And then on top of that, I received a message, kind of telling me, hey, I want you to do this, this, and that. I was like, wow. But then it was a joke. But if I was on that point the way I was before, so serious, so mad, so stressed, and I would explode. So each one of us can find little things in our lives at work, with a coworker, at home, with your spouse, with your kids, with yourself. Let's take things a little bit lighter. And, having a chance to start asking yourself those questions. So what is here to teach me? And then Joanna de Angelis also talks about consider work the best way to progress, purpose and meaning. If you cannot choose, because sometimes we cannot choose the places that we have to work to because we need to survive, we need to make money. But if that one does not give you pleasure, find something else, a volunteer work, something else that you're doing not because people are applauding you and you're doing the right thing. It's because you feel good. It fulfills you. It gives you more purpose, more meaning for life. She reminds us, study frees the mind from ignorance and develops discernment. So studying, good things to enlighten ourselves. It helps us. And what we bring here every Thursday, last Thursday of the month, over here at the center, we offer like a meditation. But it talks about how it's important to our everyday life. Maybe if we cannot, it doesn't necessarily have to be sitting in a place and doing 5 minutes. What remind us over here? Find something you like to do. Find something that gives you purpose, that makes you feel happy, even if it's a walk, even if it's going to a lake, even if it's fishing, even if it's in the yard. Find something. Each one of us has something and probably hasn't done that for so long. And be present, reconnect, ground ourselves, disconnect from so many troubles and so many problems. That one of the tools that will help us and connect with ourselves. And then, as in the gospel too, according to Spiritism, teach us, use evening reflection for growth. As St. Augustine reminds us, did I do all my best? Did I do everything I could have done? And as we sleep, we are spirits living this body. So what happens when we go sleep? The body rests. The spirit gets disconnected. And it's a law of attraction from how I'm feeling and what is my feelings, where we're going to be drained and we're going to be dragged to go. So before you go sleep, in the gospel, according to Spiritism, and in the back, they have some prayers. And they have a prayer before you go sleep. Ask for a guardian angel to take you to places where you can learn, where you can study, where if you need to get some treatments, where you can get it. Because I don't know if that happened with you or not, but it happens to me. You have some days that you wake up that you feel like, where have I been? It's like you wake up feeling not good at all. Prepare yourself to sleep. So beyond of that, too, what they talk about as you going through your day and thinking about what you did, you could have done better. We're almost done. I know you guys are tired. And above all, when Kardec asked the spirits, so what is the most perfect type that God has offered to men to serve as a guide and a model? Jesus. If we cannot remember anything, remember Him. Some days when we're going through such a hard time, if you can just visualize His image and ask, please guide me, please help me to give you that discernment to walk. And remember, do unto others what you wanted them do unto you. You know, a lot of times we like people to care about us, to open the door, to be nice. Isn't that nice when we go to a doctor's office and the secretary is so nice to you? So why don't we be this kind of people too? And especially at home. Because at home is the most challenged place. Because a lot of time we deal with outside so much pressure, so much misunderstanding. You have to be a certain way when you get home with the ones who love you. We're just kind of throw stones. We're rude. We don't care how the other person's feeling. Uh, we don't care about, maybe doing a little action of goodness inside of home. And Emmanuel tells us, educate and you will transform intelligence into humanity. Isn't that what we want? To give a hand because we care. But that has to start with each one of us. We all of us wanted to have a beautiful world, a peaceful place to live on earth. But that needs to start with each one of us. And he say, educate and you will build heaven on earth. We can start building heaven inside of us little by little, step by step. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes work. But 10 years from now, if you start doing little by little, you will gonna look back and say, wow, I'm proud the path I walk. And to finish, education properly understood, so not just the education by the books or the education the intelligent constitute the key to the moral progress, because that's why we're all here. And this is all what I have for you guys. I really wish we can take time, change the lens a little bit, remind ourselves that we're son and daughter of a merciful Father, that it's always there for us. But it's up to each one of us to do our part to connect and open the door. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys. Sure, go ahead.
Using one of your questions on the slides, what did you learn from this experience?
Oh, wow, a lot experience. This experience is don't let fear stop you. Because sometimes you create an image of yourself for what people have told you. And you don't know, if you don't stop and look inside, what you're capable to do. Sometimes we feel we're shy, we're incapable, we're insecure, because this is what we heard throughout our childhood. And then we let fear stop us. But as we remember that we are all father and daughter of a merciful Father, that we all have that strength inside of us, then when we really put our hearts and our mind to do something, to do our best, not to show off, not to get applause by the society, but to share good and love, we are all capable. So I want to thank you so much for this chance and this opportunity.
How long did you wait to give this?
I have this for exactly 9 months. I was just
Just like
thinking,
the bamboo
like
tree,
the
right?
bamboo. I was 9 months. I was just thinking about when I look and I saw the PowerPoint saying 9 months this PowerPoint and the baby. But I respect my time too. I didn't have because sometimes when you don't do that and people pressuring you, putting, you have to listen. That's the reason what our friend said, we need to look inside and check with us and say, you know what? I'm gonna go now, even with fear. So I invite each one of you to look at it, to look inside and see what is waiting. And we have been solved because of fear. Thank you so much.